Welcome to the Johan Julian Lee Show, where we meet people to talk about their experience, lifestyle, and also stories. Tune in as we continue to find people to tell you all about their struggles, their resilience, and the life lessons that you can learn from watching this show.
Hello everyone, welcome to the Johan Julian Lee Show. Today we are on episode 2 and today I got our guest here, Mr. Terry Wong. He is the owner of TinyRobot. Now for those of you who don't know, if you live in Kota Kinabalu city, TinyRobot is the place to get your PlayStation 4 fix. Is that correct?
Yeah, that's correct. PlayStation 4, Nintendo, mostly consoles lah.
Your console fix.
Yes.
So let's just pass over to Mr. Terry here. He'll tell us what he does basically, and we get to know him better. So Terry, tell us what you do.
Thanks. Thanks for having me here. I'm glad to have an invitation from you. And my name is Terry Wong, and I own TinyRobot. And what I do is that I'm the only authorized PlayStation dealer in Sabah, basically whole of East Malaysia lah. Yeah. Aside from, if you're not counting Sony centers, my shop is the only one that's authorized.
So what would differentiate you and other Sony centers? I mean, is it because generally speaking you sell the console and the games? Is that what differentiates you from others?
For Sony center, because they sell everything from TV to camera to headphones and stuff. Mine, I'm concentrating mostly on gaming. So for, let's say from Sony side, when they allocate the consoles, they will allocate more to me than to Sony centers.
You will be considered what every boy when he grew up dreamed to be, owning a game shop, and that's what everybody dream of. So like, obviously like all this doesn't just happen overnight. Do tell us, like, take us back when Terry was maybe 5 years old. Like, what was your journey through your kindergarten, your college and everything, and how you end up stumbling upon this like that? So what was Terry like in 5 years old? Was he a very popular kid?
No. I was more of a inclusive, I'm very introvert as a kid. So I didn't really talk much. I didn't really play much with kids anyway. And I didn't really have much friends to begin with right? So hence the name TinyRobot where it came from. Because it connects a lot to my childhood basically. But another reason for TinyRobot as well is because the names, when people ask why TinyRobot, I always say why not, right? So it's sort of like a name that people question, and that's what makes the name more memorable. But back to my childhood, why I named TinyRobot is because I used to play a lot with my robot toys. Yeah, so like the small one. Last time, those like Gundam small figurine.
Yes.
And then the one that you make yourself, what's it called? Gunpla. Yeah, I used to be really into that when I was a kid, right? So I would make a bunch of them, and then I would play them. Because last time I don't play them when I was a kid because I don't have the console. Last time was the Micro Genies.
This is where the audience are probably curious. What year are you born?
What year?
What year was that?
I am very young. I was born in 1985. So when I started playing with toys, I was about 7, 8 years old. Yeah.
You jumped straight into the Gunpla type, or was it?
No, because it looks cool, so I just play with it.
And then when you open it, you realize it comes in pieces. You have to put it together.
Pieces, and then just make one. Never mind. Yeah. So I would have maybe how many I have? I had eight figurines, and then I would create stories. And I would play together by myself It was quite sad So adventures, and every day I would have adventures and different kind of adventures. So that's why TinyRobot, this name, resonated with me a lot.
What about siblings? Do they play the toys with you, the robots?
My sibling, at that time, my sister, she's not really into that stuff. So she would play with Barbie dolls. I would play with my robot.
And did you bring these toys to school to talk with your friends about it who had maybe the same interest, or do you generally do not speak with many people?
No, I don't really speak.
I see.
I wasn't really into sport as well like that. So I couldn't really connect with much of the kids.
And what about high school? Were you also generally speaking more towards a collector toy at home, that kind of thing? Or?
My high school years, I think I was more, even more of an introvert when I was in high school. Towards Form 1 to Form 4. Form 5 is when I start breaking up. I start like coming out from my shell. Start talking more with my friends. But back then, from Form 1 to Form 1 to Form 4, that's where I started playing game, PlayStation. So then I'm always locked in that like my room, playing every day, not really talking to many people. Not saying like playing games is bad. No, it's just a place where we can, escape.
What did your family thought about it? Because I'm always like,
my mom
always play games.
Yeah, my mom hated it. She hated video games. Because I remember last time when my mom, when I begged my mom to buy me a PlayStation 1. And she was asking, like, okay, yeah, I buy you one. And then what are you gonna do if you're not playing it? And the kid that I am, right, thinking like, I don't want to waste my mom's money. I can use it to watch VCD. So you will get the whole value back instead of just playing game. So you just like instead of like playing game, right, I can watch video with it as well. And if I'm not using it, I can like maybe just like put there and buy like very nice and all like that. And my mom is like, you didn't mention anything about studying.
Ooh, every Asian parents.
Like, oops. Yeah. So I also promised my mom that I study well, but yeah.
I mean, like, so what were generally what were the games that you loved to play back then? Memorable until today.
Back then, the most memorable one would be Final Fantasy 7. Because that was my first game. Yeah, the first game on the PlayStation. So Final Fantasy 7, and then Twisted Metal.
Twisted Metal.
Yeah, I love that game.
And what made you decide to after all this secluding and playing games, and then what? So how did in Form 5 decide to like come up? What was it that triggered it? Girls.
Yeah, I want to get to know them more. So I have no choice but to like just come out of my shell and learn. And of course my friends as well. I want to try to fit in with the boys, the popular kids. I try to fit in, and from there slowly work on it.
Did friends back then or maybe peers bully you for any reason, like being very very quiet, always playing with your games or anything like that? Was there any such thing? Generally people leave you alone. I mean, like he's always playing his games. The nerd connotation labels.
Oh yeah, they would say the kid like the hunting the one always drawing in the background. That.
You're always drawing as well?
Yeah. Back then I draw a lot as well.
You were at the back of the class always drawing?
Yeah, I was always at the back of the class. I'm always drawing there, and sometimes people will ask me for commission. Like they would ask me to draw something for them. So I become the guy that draws.
Wow.
In high school. Yeah, but I wasn't really that good, but to them it's like, wow. Okay.
Did you draw like comics or did you draw pieces of portraits?
No, I'm not good at portraits. I draw cartoon a lot.
Cartoons?
Yeah, like anime style.
That's what led you to maybe Lim Kok Wing? Is that it? Or?
Yes. Yeah, that's correct. I was in Lim Kok Wing in, what year was it? 2003. If I'm not mistaken, 2003.
Okay.
Yeah, I was there for 3 years. I studied graphic design. No, at first I was in animation. I was in 2D animation, and then I thought to myself that no, I don't really want to have this as a career because it's too repetitive for me.
Too repetitive.
Yeah, because when you have to draw like a single walking cycle, you need to like draw at least like how many frames is that? About 20-30 frames just for that walk cycle. So like I like drawing, but I don't like it that much. So I switched to graphic design.
Now I know for a fact that I used to like to draw as well, but my parents would be telling me that drawing doesn't make money. I don't know whether you had get the same thing from your parents.
Yeah, of course. My dad he hated the idea.
Oh.
Yeah, when I say like I want to be an animator, and my father's like, you think you can find money? Oh, I don't know. So yeah.
But they let you pursue your passion anyway, right?
Yeah. They did give me a time. If like you cannot succeed in what you do, then you come home.
What did that mean to you back then? I mean, like, what did they say?
I have to prove something. I have to do lah. I have to do it lah. But when I was in Lim Kok Wing, because I was only 18, so when you're out there, right, you tend to like go wild. right? It's like you do whatever you want. It's like I am free, you know. I'm not locked down at home anymore. So there's no more filter. So that 3 years I kind of like messed around too much. Yeah. So I didn't technically do well at school, like really bad. So end up my parents kicked me all the way to New Zealand.
Okay.
Where my sister is lah. So that my sister can keep an eye on me.
And what were you doing in New Zealand? Also graphic design?
I have to start again because, like I said, I didn't do well in KL. So I had to study in Taylor's College for a year to get admitted to any college there because I don't have the result. So I had to study again for the 1 year. Then after that, I attended, I don't remember what the school is called, but I did graphic design, visual arts. I did visual arts.
Okay.
So yeah.
But you were still into your gaming hobbies as well during those time.
Yeah, I own a PS3 then, and I play a lot lah that one. And that also play too much game also not good lah. Have to control. Yes.
And after that, you came back to Malaysia, and what
Yes.
happened? What happened right after that?
I came back to Malaysia after 6 years in New Zealand.
This was in
2010, 11?
Okay.
I think so. Is it? I'm not. My calculation is correct. I think it's around 2010 or 11, somewhere around there. Yeah. So I came back because I was quite depressed lah in New Zealand.
Depressed?
Yeah.
What
Because
happened?
at one point I was happy in New Zealand for a while, and then after that a lot of my friends left because if they either like graduate already or they like don't want to be in New Zealand anymore, so they all left lah. So I was alone for quite a while in New Zealand, so I was quite sad lah back then. Yeah. So I was quite depressed, and I told myself that I cannot take this anymore, so I come home to KK.
So you came back home, feeling better now because now you have your families around you.
Yeah.
And then was that what started that you decided that okay, let's do business, let's do what you like, which is playing games? Is that what it started?
No, actually not yet. Because I came back, I have to work for my father first, ma.
Okay.
Yeah, in the development. So from there, I learned how to really, how you say, complete, focus and do your work lah. Because like I said last time, when I was away from home, I'm messing around a lot, so I don't have that focus. So I always tend to mess up what I do. So until I came back here and really take seriously in my work, then from there slowly change lah.
This process of you coming back working for your father, and it's not easy working. I mean, under your own father. But
No.
I mean, like, what can you tell me that really changed you on that process? Like, was it urgent? Did you learn about urgency, or maybe learn about systems, or what was it that you benefited most working under him?
Procedures.
Well, explain that.
And system. So, of course, when you work in a corporate company, right, you have to follow rules. So, like when you have a proper procedure and system, your task will be more fluid, and you can see, like if you're a manager, right, you can see like where mess up, what's going to happen here, what's going to happen here. Then you can pinpoint what is wrong. So I think that's also one of the very important knowledge that you can get from working in a corporate company. Because like if you no procedure, no system, right, whatever you do, you think you're good, there's always something hidden there that you don't know. Yeah.
That's what you brought, that maybe bring into TinyRobot as well, that you still do very well, which is procedures.
Procedures, and of course there's other stuff as well. I would say accounting. Accounting, tax, learning about tax. School should teach you about tax, man. In high school especially, they should really teach you about tax. But yeah, tax and accounting, and just basically overall of being a leader.
You learn leadership there.
Yeah.
As in, he asked you to lead a team or anything like that?
Yes, lead a team.
Okay.
He just put me out there. This is your team now. Do something with it. Of course, at the time I was young. But always from the trial and errors that I experienced, then that's where I really learned and grew.
So like what kind of task did he ask your team to do that you
At the time I was in the marketing field. So I was tasked to rebrand, reimagine the advertising part of the company. Because last time it was quite straightforward. So I was tasked to come up with a branding image for the company.
This is where your graphic design skills come into play, right?
Yes.
To help out.
Yeah.
I see. Then what made you, stop working there and come out?
This is a lot had to do with personal issue.
Okay.
Like I said back then, I was depressed. When I came back here, it was still, the depression was still there. It's still there. So I checked myself in, and I was diagnosed with PDD.
Oh.
So PDD stands for Progressive Depression Disorder. So basically, what normal human emotion is like that one, right? So it's like happy, sad, anger, and stuff like that. Mine is straight.
Okay.
So sometimes I may not be able to feel what's going on in me because my emotion is just like that. So they have to do with some chemical thing, I don't know what they call, but I'm lacking that chemical thing. So sometimes if I'm happy for a while, and then I become all the way down.
Okay.
So it just progress all the way down like that. So at that time I didn't understand this, but after I seek for help, then I truly understand like, oh, this is actually a condition that I can do something about. Because not knowing something, right, you feel like there's something wrong with me, right? It's quite horrible, I would say. Yeah.
This is very interesting. So like for people who don't know about PDD, what can you tell them? Like, or maybe they're experiencing PDD but they don't know what to do. What should they be doing then if they have?
Seek help.
Okay.
From your family, your close friend, loved one, whoever lah. If you feel like like you're trapped and why you don't understand like some certain thing that you don't understand. Like sometimes like when there's a situation like emotion going on, I cannot understand. I cannot comprehend. So it frustrates me. And when I'm frustrated, I will go down the rabbit hole.
Right.
So it just progress right to the point where bad thing will happen.
You did not have to go into any medication, did you?
No, I did not.
Okay.
Because mine was like pretty mild. Because once I understand, it's a matter of how you handle the situation. Because I was supposed to be prescribed with meds, but the doctor told me that if I were to take the meds, I'll be on it for life.
You'll be sorry?
I'll be on it for life.
For life.
Yeah,
Okay.
it would be hard to get off of it because what's it called? What's the word? The backlash. Yeah, the backlash would be quite bad lah. Yeah, you won't feel normal again if you take the medicine, but it will help you, of course, be happy lah. But then I choose not to take, so I choose to learn how to handle.
And so you've discovered that you have this condition while you were still working with your dad, right?
No, when I was working for my dad, I have these episodes, but I don't understand why.
You didn't understand why?
It's only when after how many years? After 5-6 years in my dad's company. Yeah. Then when I was at the breaking point, that was like 4 years ago.
Okay.
4 years ago. That's before I met my wife. Yeah. So then at the time when I was in my breaking point, then I truly understand that I need help. Yeah. So when I seek help, I understand now, and now I'm much happier.
So when you seek help at this point, did you tell dad that maybe you want to stop working for a while to get yourself, get yourself healed up and things like that?
Yes.
So
I told my family, especially my dad, I told him, I cannot work like in this environment anymore lah. Because if I were to continue, I might do something stupid. Yeah. So then my dad also, he agreed lah. He also understand, you're going through this thing, and he was quite supportive of that as well. So I took how long? A few months off. And that was the best vacation I had. Yeah. Yes.
That's where you met your wife?
Yeah. That's where I met my wife.
That's the story you want to hear.
Okay. You want me to tell the story? My wife is right there. So when I was on the way on recovery, when
Right.
I'm starting to like start going out, interacting with more people, try to stop feeling sorry for myself and just start trying being happy more. So at the time I went, of course clubbing is one of them, and that's where I bumped into my wife and she came up to me and she said, because it was really loud, the music was really really loud and I couldn't hear what she was saying and both of us were tipsy. So she came to me like screaming, I'm like, I cannot hear you. And then she took out her phone and said, you're weird. She was trying to tell me I was weird. So like no one has ever come up to me and say that to me before lah.
And you were strangers.
No, at the time we she know my sister first.
She know your sister.
Yeah, so we somewhat knew each other but didn't really talk to each other.
Okay.
Fun story. Before I met my wife, I think it was around 3-4 years ago, I tried to chase her before.
Oh.
Yeah, but she shot me down.
Shot you down?
She shot me down.
How? Why?
Because what? At the time, I don't. Do you remember what's the pub called? The one in Times Square. Yeah, Plutonic. You remember Plutonic? There was like Firefly time the time.
Firefly, I know. Okay.
Yeah,
right,
Firefly. Platonic was like opposite ma. So she worked as a bartender there before. So I saw her, it's like, wow, she's cute. I asked my friend, I was like, you think I had a chance with her or not? And then my friend also knows her. He said, you got no chance, man. No chance, lim sai lam la leh. I said, never mind, I try lah. And I went up to her. She was making a mojito. So, and it was very busy at the time. And me like being an idiot, right? I go up there, it's like, is that a mojito you're making? And she's like, yeah. And I walked away. And now she's my wife.
But back then you didn't even know she was your sister's friend.
No.
And then when did you realize that?
At the time, when was that? 2 years ago? I think. How long was that? When we had the No. The what? The wine dinner.
I think it was like 8 years ago.
Oh, so she was invited by your sister to come to a wine dinner, and then you saw it's the same girl that you tried to hit on.
Yeah.
And what was going through your head back then?
I'm like,
Small world.
good. But that time she was dating someone, so I didn't really do anything. Yeah,
okay.
I'm a good boy.
Oh, yes, you are.
Yeah. Yeah lah. So now we are happily married.
Okay, that's very good. Just wanted to know, like, that period where you were actually going through a recovery phase. Then you met your wife, and then after meeting your wife, how did the journey go into TinyRobot? How did it happen?
Oh, during the recovery period, I came up with the name TinyRobot. Yeah, so the original idea for TinyRobot is actually not game shop.
Not a game shop.
No. It was supposed to be a brand for clothing line. Hence this one.
That explains the ads I've been seeing recently. Okay.
Yeah, exactly. So it was supposed to be a clothing line, but then I couldn't find the right supplier. I didn't know what to do in the fashion line because I have no clue how it works. So it took me quite a while. And then like the time and until the time when I was on my breaking point, I needed to find something to put my focus on, to like start right away that I can do something about it. So then I thought to myself, hey, I like games. Wanna do something about it lah. Yeah. And at the time, right before I opened TinyRobot, the pricing in KK, especially in East Malaysia, the games are really expensive. Yeah, so it's like double the price sometimes. A game that should be about $200, it costs about $300 here. Yeah, so it's very expensive, right? So I didn't even know this until I started buying from online from KL, and I said, hey, why so cheap one? And then go to other shop, right, and then be like selling like so expensive. So this is also one of the driving force for me to open TinyRobot as well, to make the market fair here.
To make the market fair.
Yeah, exactly. Even though it's hard for us as well as business owners, because Sabah, we will always have that delivery cost compared to KL.
Cabotage.
Yeah. So in KL, they might be selling maybe their profit margins about maybe 15% selling this thing. We will always have that 1 to 2% lesser, isn't it, because of the delivery cost. So that's why I kind of understand why some of the game shop here selling at overpriced prices, because they need to cover the delivery cost as well. So that's one of the reasons as well why I open up TinyRobot, is to make the market fair.
From apparel to games, and then because you want to make the market fair. We'll be back right after this.
Hey friends, thanks for staying in. Here's a quick shout out to TinyRobot. TinyRobot is a video game store located at Suria Sabah Shopping Mall, Kota Kinabalu, and also their newly opened branch at ITCC Penampang. They are a team of passionate people dedicated to selling of video games, console systems, and gaming accessories at both online and physical store. Catch the latest updates about video games, console systems, and accessories at www.tinyrobotonline.com.
So, from the initial idea of making the apparel, but you figured that gaming and making the market fair would be the next move. So, what was the first step you took? I mean, after you probably designed the logo already at this point.
Yeah, the logo is there.
What was the first step after that? They made the decision.
Looking for suppliers.
Okay.
Yeah. So it was hard, man. I don't know why gaming suppliers don't want to be found.
Gaming supplies don't want to be found in Malaysia.
They don't want to be found. So you have to really seek for them, right? Like really look for a number to find them. Yeah, I don't know why. So now it's different. Now it's different. Back then when I tried to find, right, it's so hard. No one willing to tell me. Yeah, I even asked, I even went to KL to ask the game shop where you find your games, where you find your supplies. Most of them they ignore me lah.
It's a trade secret.
Yeah, trade secret lah. So then I never mind. I figured that if I can get business from Sony themselves, they would probably introduce me to some suppliers lah. And that they did. Yeah. So I approached Sony personally to them and tell them propose lah that I have this business lah. Because in KK, right, for Sony side, KK Sony side, they have never done this before. Yeah, so I was the first one to propose this to them.
Did you fly over or drop an email, or what was it?
To open a game shop that to be authorized by them. Because in KL, it was at that time in KL it was fairly new as well to be authorized. I think it was like less than 5 years old when I started. So it's still new, considered still new. So in KK here, right, they have not done this before. So it was so that's why they were quite interested in helping me out as well.
How did you convince them that there's a market here in KK? Because East Malaysia, you don't compare KK to KL. Most suppliers would say, why bother? How did you convince them that let me try?
I showed them the numbers. Show them the numbers. Like that's why when you want to start a business, right, you always must have a plan. Like your projection and where it will go. So when you have all this thing, right, this is where your convincing skills comes in, your sales pitch. Like why would they want to give you the authorization, right, to someone that I've never heard of, like a brand that I've never heard of, right, in a place that it's not even considered in their budget. Oh yeah. So until I came in, right, then they have budget for Sabah. So yeah, I have to convince them. Tell them, so I tell you, if you give me the authorization, I can really boost PlayStation brand here. So I don't quite remember what I did, but it worked lah.
How long did it take for this negotiation to finally had it signed, things like that? How many times did you go to meet Sony? Sony Japan is this or?
No, Sony's at that time it was Sony Asia. So it's Sony Singapore lah.
Alright.
Yeah. So I had to convince the KL side first lah. But before that also I can convince here. But thankfully the KK side was quite supportive, because like I said, they've never done it before so they also want to try. So with their help, they managed to convince the KL side also lah. Yeah.
So how many years was it discussing with Singapore?
I think 1 year.
1 year back and forth.
back and forth. That's even before I started the business, because I no, it's not 1 year. It's about a few months, if I'm not mistaken. Few months. Yeah. So for them to finally, okay, it's not authorized yet, but they let me do it. They'll supply the console to me. Yeah. So for the authorization also, it takes about, how long? Was it 2 years? Yeah, 2 years. 2 years to show them the results that I can do it. That Sabah is a potential market. Then they finally give me the authorization. Yeah.
And then, so you open TinyRobot after you get the authorization, or?
No, I was already running.
You were already running with it?
Yeah, running.
And
Because TinyRobot right now is 4 years old. Yeah, 4 years old. So for the 2 years, I have to show them the result that I can do it. Yeah. So it took 2 years to get the authorization.
So tell me the feeling of opening up TinyRobots for the first day when you had to cut ribbon and everything like that. How was the feeling? How was it feel like?
Of course, proud lah, happy. Finally something that I can call my own. Yeah, because before TinyRobot, I'm always under the shadow of the my dad's company, my sister's side. So I'm always forever. At that time, I'm always known as this guy's son, or this guy's brother, like that. So I never really had a standing back then lah. So until I launched TinyRobot, I can finally say that this belongs to me. That this is something I started with my 2 hands lah. Right.
So being a new kid on the block coming in now with the shop, PlayStation, got consoles, but you already have all these existing shops around in KK with overpriced, like you say, things like that. Right? So what was the strategy back then? It's like, okay, how do you make yourself relevant?
Aggressive marketing.
Yeah.
So I had my staff go to shopping malls, even though I don't have shops there. Shopping malls, market, supermarket, and just place them there and hand out flyers. Yeah, and then because I have a membership system in my shop for my business as well, so I use that as a leverage also lah. So to get more context and information, so we'll be out there handing out flyers. Oh, do you want to join the membership? We will send you free points, and then free information. We'll send you information as well. If you're interested, and if you're interested, we can call you directly to let you know the latest news lah.
Would you say that this subscription and membership idea was something, maybe a process that you learned from your father's company over that, or was it something that Sony had introduced to you that it can work this way? How did that particular idea? Because I felt that was what was probably a breaking point to why most KK console don't have this system.
I think it's mostly because of my experience when I was in New Zealand, because they have do you know the game shop EB Games?
Heard of it?
Yeah, EB Games. Yeah, so they have membership as well now. So you have members, then you maybe accumulate points and stuff like that, and then you can use the point as discount. So loyalty program lah, basically. So I got it from that side. Yeah.
It's just that nobody implemented here, so you figure that you'll be the first to launch it in a proper system. That's all way.
Yeah, somewhat like that. But it's not easy lah.
How effective is it? Do you find it so far?
When starting up, it's very effective because with the membership system, I get a lot of information, data. So data is very important. So when you have that, right, you can gauge what you can plan for what you can do in the future because you have the numbers.
And you have to buy a certain amount of games from Sony to maintain your status. Is it? You're saying your distributor?
No, you have to maintain by the sales.
The sales.
Yeah. So if they see your sales as like not doing good, they have the right to revoke the authorization, or you breach contract lah, the agreement lah.
But see, this is the part that's very difficult in the industry because like you guys are selling the physical copy of the game. But if I go into a PlayStation console, right, I can actually download the game online itself.
Yes,
so isn't this maybe counterproductive in itself? And how do you manage this situation where actually they can choose to just download instead of driving down to my shop and getting it from me? So what was the strategy, or like what made you think something out of the box?
That's a very good question. So for that, I myself also have that concern as well, since when PSN is available, because I knew that digital download will be the future of gaming. But right now we are still at the very good time where physical copy is still sellable, because we still have a lot of collectors. People people that likes to collect, right? And one good thing about physical as well is that they can trade or they sell secondhand. So that's one good thing. For digital download, you cannot. When you download, it's yours forever. Yeah. You cannot sell it. You cannot do anything with it. And some games, let's say you are playing this game, right, and you like this game, and there's something going on behind the scene between Sony and this development company lah. Sony can just pull the game away. Yeah. So when they pull the game away, right, sometimes you may not be able to play the game. Or let's say you deleted the game, right, it's like, oh, I feel like playing it. Then try downloading it, cannot. Yeah. So they have always have that risk of digital downloads. But with physical, of course, when you buy, it's there already in your hand, right? And you play finish it, oh, okay, I can just sell it. You still get money. So that's one thing. This is why the physical is still thriving to this day.
Not easy, but I see that you have certain ideas of how to handle it. Because I also see you were doing trades you do physical trades in your shop as well, isn't it?
Yes.
And you actually have this repurchase points or something. I believe you have.
I used to have the points for trainings, but I stopped that already because it's just way too much cost for me already. I'm basically giving free money. So for trade-in, that's why I say trade-in, the physical copy is good because you can trade in and get money. So a lot of our customers would just, if they finish done playing, they just come to us, sell give us their old games, and we just give them cash. Yeah.
So this is with the first shop. Then what made you decided to expand to many malls? What made you make the decision? You want to conquer the market. Yeah. You want to conquer the space.
Yeah.
I love that. I love that.
So I want to be like the best game shop in whole of East Malaysia.
Okay, when it comes to East Malaysia, this is where we have Sarawak in the picture lah. So what's their situation that you see?
For Sarawak, actually the market is growing. Like they do have some game shops there, and good ones there right now. But I still get orders from Sarawak as well lah. Because for them they will say that sometimes Sarawak get their stock late, or like they couldn't find the title that they want, so they find us lah. Because our range is quite big also.
So you keep a lot of Sarawakian contacts as well for
a lot of Sarawakians. Yeah, because we do have website as well. Yeah, so they can buy from our website.
So will we be expecting TinyRobot Sarawak anytime soon?
Let's see how this goes.
Which leads us to current day lah, like the pandemic. How does it affect your business?
At the beginning, yeah, of course, affected. It was affected, but of course, a lot of people staying at home. They have nothing to do. They want to play game. So who do they look for? They look for me. Yes.
But were you allowed to open a shop? Because I believe that back then only the essential workers. So how did you tackle this situation?
Because the road that my staff takes to my office, because I'm not allowed to open a shop,
yes.
But I do have office and I have a warehouse. Yeah. So I just assign one of my staff and have them appoint as security. Because it's true, they need to go in and check. So that's considered as essential as well. But lucky for us is that they didn't stop us lah. Basically, I don't know why. They didn't stop us, so we just continue doing it.
Right.
But of course, keeping the SOP and then the social distancing and stuff lah. Yeah.
So at this moment, has the pandemic been sort of like a blessing disguised for you, or has it basically been just challenging all the way until even now?
There was a challenge and also a blessing in disguise, because my sales went up because during this period, because like I say, a lot of people staying home then they want to play game, so of course they order from me, and I have my website, and because my warehouse is not in the shop, I can access it anytime I want. Yeah, and then because I work together with GDX as well, so courier for me is no problem. Yeah, I don't have to send personally because because the MCO, right, you don't want to be too close to people, right? So that's why we have the GDX for the courier.
So what was the most hottest selling game during the MCO?
Final Fantasy 7.
Final Fantasy, the remake.
The remake.
The remake.
Yeah.
Okay.
Because
okay.
When the MCO happened, that's when Final Fantasy 7 released.
Oh yeah, you put out an ad saying that people not able to come to your shop to collect it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
okay.
and of course during the MCO, my stock was affected as well because all of my stock come from West Malaysia. Yeah, at the time so limited flight then, I can't really get my stock on time. Yeah, so for the Final Fantasy 7 was supposed to be released on the first week of the month, but end up arriving end of the month. So that itself also I lost a lot of sales lah. Because like you said, PSN they rather download. Yeah.
Instead of waiting, right? Because everybody wants to be the first.
Exactly. Yeah.
Okay.
But in the end also I didn't manage to make back my sales lah. Yeah.
Any plans on where you want to bring TinyRobots to? Right now, how you have branches in ITCC? You have your main branch still in not Riverside. You moved to
Suria.
You moved to Suria.
Yes.
So you have 2 right now. Is it?
2. Yeah. I used to have, originally my plan was to have 3. But because of the MCO, of course I cannot do it anymore because the cost is too high at the time. If this did not happen, right, you will see 3 branch.
I see.
Yeah, so I have no choice but to close the cameras inside and move to ITCC. So now I have 2 branch.
What are the plans? More branches soon? Every single mall?
No, not at this moment.
Not at this moment.
Now I'll just concentrate mostly on online.
So now that you finally run your own shop and handling 2 branches, staff and things like that, you know, what are the leadership roles that you have to take in, right? Can you tell me like how different is this from back then, how you used to work, and then now that you have to take care of 2 shops, what do you need to? What keeps you awake to continue running these 2 shops?
How? I think mostly you have to appreciate your staff.
You have to appreciate your staff.
Yeah.
Okay.
Appreciate your staff. Appreciate what they do, and you really need to truly understand who they are as a person. Yeah. So what my father taught me back then was that if you really get to know your staff and you understand them, then you can use their strength. Even though you think like, oh, the person, no use one, but every single person in here has a strength that can be used.
And what process would you use to see what their strength is?
Just basically see them work.
Just watch them work.
Watch them work. See how they perform, how they interact with their colleagues, how they accomplish their task. So then you can see. That's why I say the procedure comes in play in this part as well, because you can know where they mess up and where they excel in. Yeah. Then you can truly know the person's strength and weakness. Yeah. Some people might not understand this because some people might find this very frustrating because they don't understand how to do this thing. Yeah. So then you know, oh, that's your weakness there. You don't understand. So slowly learn. You learn already when you really know this procedure. Then you know where your strength is. Yeah. Every month. Last time every month we used to have a form that we evaluate our staff.
Wow.
So we
monthly.
Monthly. Last time monthly. So we will have some surveys for the employee to fill up. So it's sort of like a rating system for themselves lah. So they rate themselves how good they are in their task. So it's like from 1 to 5. 1 the worst and 5 is the best. So you'll be surprised how many people out there, right, rate themselves as perfect.
Overconfidence, right?
Overconfidence. Yeah. Then you know that this guy is like, ego is like damn high. So then comes the guy that evaluates. right? To give them the true mark. So then you can see your weakness and your strength there. Yeah. So most of the time, by doing this, right, the employee also learn. Oh, actually, I can learn from this, or like, oh, this is my weakness. I can improve on this. Or hey, this is my strength. I can utilize this. Like that.
How many staff do you have to handle altogether? 2 branches.
2 branches. Now in the office we have 8 people. Each branch have 3 people now. Yeah. So about 8, 9, 10, 11, 12,
14 of them.
14.
Okay. And you still pursuing your TinyRobot apparel ideas now that you got your 2 shops? Are you still pursuing that that idea?
Yes. It's a slow start lah, but I'm trying. Yeah. I'm still not really versed in the fashion world or like what's trendy, but I just want to wear what I want, like something that I enjoy wearing.
So I like this though, because now you're changing basically this logo of this TinyRobot. It's not just a game shop, but you're basically trying to make it become a trend. You're trying to make it a lifestyle trend.
Yes. That was the original idea, right?
Okay, very good. So so the next part is basically I'm going to ask, who are the important people in your life?
Of course, my wife. My wife, my parents, my siblings, my sister, my brother, Wong and Jeremy. My close friends who also work for me as well. And a few friends lah. I appreciate it.
Okay, thank you.
I learned from you also. Yeah, from your speeches and your talk shows that you do in your car. I watched that.
All right, thank you.
It was good. Sometimes I learned something from it.
I also see that from the conversation that your father plays a very big role teaching you, like you said like he teaches you all the accounting, taxing, and all that sort of thing, and the procedures as well. So you would consider him like a mentor to you in that sense?
Yeah, I think he's more of a mentor.
He's more of a mentor.
Yes,
to you.
that's correct.
And what's mom like to you? Disciplinarian or?
She's more of the how you say, the party of the group.
The party of the group. Oh.
Yeah. Because my dad and me, we are not really, how you say, like on a dinner table we're mostly quiet. For talk and stuff. And my mom usually is the one that start the conversation. She's the one who start talking.
Okay. She gives life to the family.
Yes. So she's more like the party of the group lah. Yeah. Of course she gets strict as well lah. You know, if you like mess with her, she'll mess you up lah.
Every mother's right.
Yeah.
Good. Very interesting. Okay, so if people want to find you, where should they look online?
They can visit my website in www.tinyrobotonline.com to buy the latest games, PlayStation 4, Nintendo Switch, and in the future, this year, PlayStation 5.
PlayStation 5.
And for my clothing line, you can visit www.TinyRobotApparel.com. Yeah, that's for the mostly on the merchandise.
So you've already started the site for it already now?
Yes.
Good.
Trying to like separate that thing.
Good. So here, how we end this podcast is that we'll play a little game. Okay. So it's a little game where I'm going to throw some words at you.
Okay.
Then you can reply me back in one word of what you think of that word, or you can give me a short summary of it. Okay. The only thing is that you cannot repeat the same answer. Okay.
So I can like describe it as a sentence, or
you can describe it in a sentence, or if I throw one word at you and you give me back one word to describe the impression of it as well.
Okay. I'll try my best.
Okay. So the first word, money.
Happy.
TinyRobot.
Mine.
Lim Kok Wing.
Sucks.
Passion.
Love.
Favorite game.
That's a lot. Pretty obscure. Dragon's Dogma.
Dragon's Dogma.
Dragon's Dogma. All-time favorite.
Netflix is coming up with one.
Yeah.
The show.
I'm stoked for that.
Your hopes.
Hopes. Happiness, different word.
Close enough. Okay. Your wife,
My life.
family,
Closeness.
closeness. Okay. Your future.
Great.
And your last one is your message to the audience.
Message. Wow, so sudden. My message. Be happy always. Don't try too hard. Go with the flow. And do whatever makes you happy. Is it good?
Happiness is a very important thing.
Yeah, happy. Yeah. Mhm.
Thank you very much, Terry. Thank you so much for coming to this podcast.
Thank you for having me. What do I think about this podcast? I think it's great. The type of question that Julian asked was quite good. They're good questions. Some of them are great questions, and I had fun. So great. So I would like to thank all of my staff, Jonathan, Aaron, Marina, Sajre, Charles, Alvin, City, and the sales team, all the sales teams. Thank you for doing what you're doing and making TinyRobot what it is today lah. Because without you guys, of course, there's no TinyRobot. So, thank you.
Like, subscribe, and hit the bell notification so you won't miss any of our latest episode. See you in the next one.